12 inches of my colon removed.
And here you are.
And then my daughter had back surgery and salmonella poisoning, so I got myself well, and then I went and helped her get well. So
awesome.
So yeah, I couldn't have done this 5 years ago. I couldn't have done anything that I'm doing 5 years ago. I mean, all I could do was try to get some decent food, try to get some rest, and try to stay out of people's way that didn't understand, so that I didn't get into it with them. Because it just hurts so much when they can't understand. But now that I'm better, I can understand their position better. I can step back and I can look and I can go, I was dysregulated. I was bitter. I was angry. I was scary at times. You know, I was frightening to the people that knew me to be a peaceful, loving, gentle spirit. Maybe excitable, but not as dysregulated like I was. And not, I mean, even there for a couple months. There was like 3 months when I first jumped off of a milligram of Xanax. And that first 3 months, I mean, I did some really crazy things. I mean, I drove my truck through a pot field, and I had a gun held to my head, and got beat up by a tire iron, and ended up in the hospital twice, and, you know, made all kinds of threatening remarks, and not physical, but just, you know, hatred. I was hateful and spiteful and angry. I'm so glad that's gone.
Right?
Because that's so much energy, and that's another thing I will tell people, that if you are feeling all of that, try to breathe. Try to realize other people can't fix it for you. And they aren't going to understand unless they've seen it before or been through it, or you had a long conversation and watched movies before you came off and went through your trial. But people don't understand it. It's just, they just don't. Mental illness is scary because people don't understand it. And it does make us mentally ill when we come off those medications, or if we've been on them and had them commingled with so many different others, it changes our brain chemistry, and we don't act like ourselves.
No.
But now this is me. I'm 6 years off everything. So
6 years.
6 years. I've been 6 years, except for when I had my surgery and had medications. And that's something else that we talked about was, you know, I was on antibiotics. I was on painkillers. I had anesthesia. I was on muscle relaxers. Now, they offered me gabapentin, and I said no because I have some residual nerve pain, as well as I have neuropathy through my body. But I said, no, I don't want that. Thank you very much. But I did use the painkillers, and I did use the ibuprofen, and I did use the muscle relaxers, and I did use the stool softener, and it didn't upset me.
That's great news.
It was, I will say I learned this because I was on opiates for a number of years too. And now that I've been away from them so long, but still live with pretty severe chronic pain all the time, I see how people get on them.
Yeah.
I see because it's like, it just takes that edge off. And so it's like, I need another one, you know. It would be so easy, and I'm glad that, you know, I ran out and I asked for one refill, and because it was only 3 days after I got home that I ran out. I'm like, come on, dude, cough up a couple more, you know.
You're actually lucky they gave them to you. There's a lot of doctors that won't even prescribe pain meds anymore.
Right. Well, we had that discussion before the surgery. But, you know, even my surgeon, he congratulated me because he said, I see you've got one prescription for Percocet, you know, just recently. How have you been dealing with all this pain? And I said, cannabis. Yeah. And he put his hand out and he shook my hand. He's like, good job. He goes, I've seen what your pictures look like. You probably have had a lot of pain. I said, yeah, but I didn't want to take that. It's going to just make it worse because then I can't poop. Right. And when you have diverticulitis, pooping's a big deal.
No kidding.
Well, pooping's a good thing anyway, so.
So what you're saying is you were able to tolerate the anesthesia and everything you had to be under, and you didn't get set back with symptoms.
Nope.
That's awesome.
No.
That's awesome.
No, I have had no residual symptoms from any of the medications that I took. Now, none of them were mind benders.
Right.
None of them were, none of them were for psych. And no benzos. I hand printed, besides what's in my chart, I typed up a thing that says, like, I'm a DNR. So that was on there, and what my limitations are of what I'll accept. And then it said absolutely no benzodiazepines, including Versed, including this, including that. Absolutely, what was there? There's another one. I had one other medication. Oh, the lidocaine, that I have to have the carbocaine instead. But I had all that just really spelled out, and I printed off numerous, and every nurse at admission, the nurse that checked me in, the anesthesiologist, they all got a copy.
You have to.
I said, I'm not going to go into all the details of what's happened in my life, of where this came from, but I'm telling you, I have this in writing, and you need to honor this.
Yeah.
And they did.
Good.
They did. And pretty much everyone I spoke to was very receptive, when they would try to do something for a symptom to manage it. And I'd say, no, I don't think that's a good one. No, I don't. And they'd listen and they'd respect me. No one shamed me at all. And
nice.
It was, but I'm not dysregulated anymore.
Right.
So, when we go to the doctor and we're like, you got to fix it, and you don't understand, and we're freaking out, and we're doing, and they're just like, oh, you need to be medicated, because we can't hear them. We can't hear someone helping us then.
No, we can't.
We really can't. That's where I still have my dream of my Serenity Sanctuary, my 100-acre Serenity Sanctuary, where people can go. People, especially the first year or two, need to have a place where they can be dysregulated around people who understand
that they're dysregulated,
and are going to let their central nervous systems just kind of have some mellow and use some of these alternative methods that we're finding that help. I know some people who are using ketamine with excellent results. I know people using mushrooms with excellent results. We're using cannabis and we're having very good results. And so, as well as mindfulness and meditation and yoga and nature bathing, and, they're all viable for regulating the dysregulated central nervous system. So, because that's what we need. We just need to be loved and accepted right where we are. And if we're being icky, you can tell someone, no, you can't yell at me. Or I'm going the other way and you can go your way. You can't do that to me. And let someone sit in their discomfort.
Right.
But you don't shame them and you don't put them down and you don't medicate them.
Right.
Just because they're behaving badly. So, anyway, that's about all I got, I guess.
Right. Thank you for doing. I know you guys.
Yeah. Well, Grace is finishing her shower.
Thank you for talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you came by.
Me too.
So glad.
Me too.
I'm so glad. I needed that.
Well, I guess the universe heard that and said, hey, isn't she on your way again?
I needed this really bad. Okay, you guys, we'll answer your questions later. I'll take a look. I just wanted to let her talk. And,
hey, Christine.
Yeah, hi, Bonnie. Oh my gosh.
Bonnie.
There's Becky. Love you guys. Please know you can heal, okay? Know you can heal.
And don't think about it going back to how you were. That is not what healing is. Healing is not going back to your old life. No one gets to do that. Not even someone completely healthy. Mm-hmm. We get today. No one goes back. So
that's right.
Let go of that. Embrace whatever comes, because it might be a whole new amazing life.
You're going to Mexico.
I'm going to Mexico. 5 years. 5 years I've been planning for this trip. I tried in 2020. I'm doing it this year. I've made it this far. This is the furthest I've ever made it.
You're going to make it this year.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to be out in the ocean in my kayak.
So you guys need to follow her, okay?
Ladybug Landings.
Ladybug Landings. And we'll talk to you later. I love